Progressive and just plain fed-up New Yorkers didn't just put their candidate over the top Tuesday. They also gave a stern warning to Andrew Cuomo and also to Cuomo endorsers Bill Clinton, Mike Bloomberg, Adriano Espaillat, Trumpster Bill Ackman, and allegedly liberal union leaders that people would rather have their city work for them than for the rapacious real estate and finance moguls who, generally speaking, own it.
I'm freezing. You're right. As the next mayor of New York City, let's plunge into the details. Two million New Yorkers live in rent-stabilized units, and their rents are set by the Rent Guidelines Board. The board is made up of 9 members.
So now Cuomo can go back to his other job, defending genociders from The Hague. President They Better Obey Me claimed victory in Iran after his big, bad, beautiful bully bombs may have set back the Iranians' nuclear weapons program, which they may or may not have, by months. Or maybe not. If the U.S. leaves Iran alone for a time, perhaps the incompetence and venality of the regime there will fester and foster another revolt. Then again, if it brings women and minorities to power, Trump may decide that's woke and bomb again. President Vendetta has escalated his Science Last campaign by defunding research on heart disease, AIDS, COVID, diabetes, meningitis, cervical cancer, and several other diseases because the premier research facility in the world is in South Africa. Since that nation kills white people and supports Palestine, something's got to give.
Which side are you on? Which side
are you on, much?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
The irony here, should you require one, is that the dead and gone apartheid regime in South Africa invested in medical advances for white people, and later, when blacks turned out to be human, they benefited as well. So racist capitalism was turned on its head, helping everyone, which President I Hate Humanity hates. And in case you're contemplating suicide because of the end of services for LGBTQ folks, they've just cut off the hotline for that. Straighten up, and when you're straight, then call. And of course, foreign medical students who are often assigned to low-income communities are being reassigned to stay the hell away from Americans in need of medical care. Yes, it's a doctor ban. Meanwhile, longtime CDC leaders are resigning, saying that RFK's leadership will cause many Americans to, I believe the word they used was, die. The boy leader at HHS proves once again that if the only tool you have is a hammer, get a sledgehammer. TV psychologist Dr. Phil has fanboyed up to ICE, appearing at their raids. We assume he has concluded that sowing terror and hate for those different from us is good for the American psyche. The Trumperium has erased from federal agencies any observance of Black History Month, MLK Day, Holocaust Remembrance Day. They've deleted 1,000 studies from the CDC website and disappeared the census data. This saved the American people $4 and the trouble of knowing anything. And remember, if you haven't known anything, you have nothing to worry about. And speaking of not knowing, lest you think the slaughter of journalists in Gaza is accidental or collateral, what's the word I'm looking for here? No. They are hunted down by the people your taxes pay for, abetted by Christian and Jewish Zionists and not-so-aware friends and neighbors who are so pleasant to you. They are supporting reporter cleansing by denying it, either to launder their European trauma at the expense of others, who we can't or won't or just don't think about, or to hide from the reality of America's daily violence, or this is multiple choice, and the answers are all correct. You won't hear it from DOGE, but federal workers' salaries are only 2.4% of the federal budget. So clearly, DOGE is not about saving money or being efficient. It's about destroying the government's ability to control rich people. It's the same as tax cuts. Federal regulations and watchdogs are curbs on pathological corporate greed. But DOGE is still at it. They have top dogs at DOE, EPA, Interior, and 14 other agencies that may last till next week. They're hard at work sending out reports confusing million with billion, counting the same contracts twice, claiming credit for canceling things that were canceled before most of them were born, and bragging about cuts the courts have canceled. On the more efficient side, key programs to be aborted include tech to tackle climate catastrophe, earthquake relief research, and the state of Maine. And Harvard. President It's My Country, Not Yours has terminated legal representation for 25,000 children who entered the U.S. without adults. This makes sense since they are not his children. The move received enthusiastic support from his Christian base, who agreed with President Take Their Oil, Not Their Refugees, that if the kids knew they'd have a hard time here, they would not come, but would stay home in their home countries to be persecuted, abused, and trafficked. Meanwhile, tourists from Toronto and Montreal are no longer trekking to the Metropolitan Museum of Art for mysterious and unknowable reasons. President Only I Am the Arts will name himself chair of the board of the Met and close it.